During the All-Star break, it came out that Chris Paul unfortunately has a messed up hand and is going to be missing 6 to 8 weeks. This has left some Phoenix Suns fans with some mixed reactions. We have the people that are worried and are thinking, oh god, this is really going to mess with our season, and then we have people that are like, this is going to be completely fine. If you can't tell by the title and thumbnail, I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be completely fine. So in today's video, I want to talk about why the Chris Paul injury is not that big of a deal. Before I get into the video, all I would like to say is, number one, if you guys could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, and your subscription would be greatly appreciated. And number two, I'm back and I'm so thankful for all the support that I got while I was gone for these past couple days. I really did a lot of thinking and I missed you guys, and I'm so excited that I'm back to uploading consistently. Also, I have a Discord. If you want to join it, the link will be in the description below. Today's video is brought to you by Manscape.com, but we're going to talk about them later on in the video. Now let's lay down some facts. Number one, we do know that he has a fractured thumb, and number two, we found out about this about 10 minutes before the All-Star game on Saturday. Now he didn't actually do much during the actual All-Star game, he just really played about like 5 minutes if that. So what does this mean for the Phoenix Suns? Because now they don't have their starting point guard and they're going to be in a lot of trouble, right? Well, one of the things that I praised about the Phoenix Suns is that when they spot a weakness, whether it's in the off season or even during the season, they're going to try to attack that weakness as much as possible. And that's why, for example, they got JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo when it came to centers. But now that we're talking about guards, picking up guys like Aaron Holiday and Torrey Craig and making sure we extended Cameron Payne in the offseason, those moves are really starting to pay out right now. According to everything I know, it seems like Chris Paul is going to be back right before the playoffs, which is good. However, we do have some more good news about the Suns. So for those of you that don't know, Phoenix is the #1 seed, and at this point, it's just kind of undisputed that if they play the way they have been, then they're going to easily be the #1 seed in the Western Conference. Well, it turns out if they go 500 for the remainder of the season, and mind you, I've seen some stats that have said they have the easiest schedule, so if the Suns can go 500 and kind of just cruise the rest of the regular season and then have Chris Paul back for the playoffs, I think they're going to be just fine. I'm not going to lie, I've heard a lot of casuals say that, oh, the Phoenix Suns is now in trouble, they're not going to do any good, and you have to remember that number one, Devin Booker, in my opinion and to a lot of people, is the MVP of this team. And number two, like I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of depth. So saying that this team is not going to be good when Chris Paul is out is just honestly insane to me, especially because this team has played without Chris Paul before and they've won. I'm not saying I want Chris Paul out because that's not what I'm saying. However, the Suns are going to be okay. Now, what I do want to talk about, however, is the opportunities that are being presented because of this. Now, there's a stigma in the NBA that when a center plays with Chris Paul, their stats start to go up and they look a lot better than normal. And all I'm seeing right now about DeAndre Ayton is that, oh, if he didn't have Chris Paul to force feed him layups and dunks, and he'd be like Greg Oden. In fact, statistically, DeAndre Ayton plays better without CP3. Obviously, I'd like to have both of them on the court at the same time, but the fact of the matter is that DeAndre Ayton was already a good center. The fact of the matter is that DeAndre Ayton is not a scoring center. He's not going to average 25 and 10. However, he's going to average 25 and 13 while on good efficiency. He's played a very impactful role for the Phoenix Suns, and a lot of people have been disregarding it just because they think, oh, Chris Paul is the only reason why he's good. No, DeAndre Ayton has been good. However, his points have been going up. Or have they? Because if we look at his stats, in 2019 he averaged 18.2 points per game, which was his career high. Then in 2020, when Chris Paul joined, he would average 14 points per game. And then we get to this season where he's averaging about 16 points per game. So if we really look at it, he's playing the same when it comes to scoring, and stuff like his rebounding numbers have stayed the same, and his field goal percentage is really the only thing that's gotten better. I mean, but to be fair, DeAndre Ayton has been really known lately to have really good shooting games because he only shoots a couple shots that are like a couple feet away. So the stigma that Chris Paul made DeAndre Ayton good is completely ridiculous. It's not to say Chris Paul hasn't helped him at least a little bit when it comes to performing better and stuff like that, but when it comes to stats, I'm sorry, but DeAndre Ayton has been playing the same. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the things that Chris Paul has done for not only DeAndre Ayton, but I guess other people on the team is stuff that you really can't track on the stats. Before we get into the rest of this video, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Now, before we get into the rest of this video, hey y'all, this video is sponsored by Manscape.com, the #1 brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped has a variety of products, and one of my favorite has to be the Lawnmower 4.0 with 7,000 RPM and skin-safe technology. Now, I've been using Manscaped for about a couple months, and I gotta say, I've been very impressed with their products. In fact, I've been incorporating a lot of their stuff into my shower routine. One of my favorite things about Manscaped is the fact that their products are unisex, so anyone can use Manscaped products. They also do have stuff for other parts of your body, for example, like their 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. conditioner. They even have body wash. Like, they have all the products you can need for your shower routine. Like I said earlier, I've been using Manscaped's products for about a couple months ever since they sent them out to me, and I've been very impressed. Now, if you guys do want any products from Manscaped, then make sure you guys go to manscaped.com. The link is in the description below. However, if you do want to save some money, make sure you guys do use code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. Guys, that is code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. Thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video and the channel. Guys, your balls will thank you. Out of all players, I really didn't think that Devin Booker would be the one that had to prove himself. Booker is widely known as one of the best young players in the NBA. In fact, if you look at all the guys that are under 25, I'd like to argue that Devin Booker is better than all of them. However, the NBA media loves to bring up the fact that they think that Chris Paul is the only reason why Devin Booker is getting so much light and why we even talk about him. Now we have the stigma, can Devin Booker do without Chris Paul? And then again, I think he can. I want to remind you guys as well that the Phoenix Suns did in fact play without Chris Paul last year in the Western Conference Finals for the first 2 games, which they won both of them, by the way. And if we're all being honest, in the first round of the playoffs, Chris Paul was practically useless for the last 5 games. It's not a diss at Chris Paul, the man had a messed up shoulder. So do I think Devin Booker will be fine without Chris Paul? Absolutely, and I really think he's going to be able to prove in these upcoming months that Devin Booker is the top player that we've been saying he is. I don't understand why Devin Booker has to prove himself constantly day after day, even though we all know he's the best shooting guard in the league. So for anyone that's saying that the Phoenix Suns are going to struggle without Chris Paul and that they're not going to be okay and they're going to go on a big losing streak is insane to me. I'm very interested to see what happens with the Phoenix Suns while Chris Paul is gone, because yes, he's a top point guard of all time and he's one of the biggest reasons why the Phoenix Suns have been doing so well. A lot of things that I've heard when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, and it's so annoying just as a fan, but even someone that loves basketball in general, is that, oh, your team is only good because of Chris Paul. Like, and okay, mind you, Chris Paul always brings an impact to every single team he plays on. So now that Phoenix is getting an opportunity to really show what this team is made of and that they're not getting carried by Chris Paul, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. So I'm recording this about 8 o'clock and the Phoenix Suns game just ended and they beat the Thunder by 20. The lineup did look a little bit different as Booker was running point guard and they had Cam Johnson in at small forward. And I mean, I may not know much about basketball, but if 25 points, 12 assists, 6 steals, 5 rebounds while shooting 56% from the field, but I think that's a pretty decent stat line. All jokes aside, you could definitely tell the Suns were kind of struggling a little bit earlier on in the game. However, late in the 4th, they made a really deep push and Booker just went off and the whole team was playing really well together. I know it's the Thunder, I know they're not a good team, however, a win is a win at the end of the day. Obviously, I don't expect Booker to put up 25 and 12 every single night. However, if he can put up like 25 and 6, then honestly, I'm here for it, because Devin Booker at point guard is very underrated, as a lot of people think that he couldn't run an offense, but I've seen Booker play point guard and he can run an offense. Like I said earlier, it's going to be very interesting to see what this group can do, because they have a lot of potential, they have a lot of depth, and they're the #1 team in the NBA for a reason. This is DeAndre Ayton's chance to show that he deserves that max deal and that he's one of the best centers in the league. This is a chance to see how good of a coach Monty Williams is and how good he can mess with the lineup. This is a chance for Devin Booker to show that he's one of the best young players in the game and that he can lead this Phoenix Suns team to success. With the playoffs in nearly 2 months, it's going to be very exciting to see what the Suns can do. And even though they're not going to have Chris Paul, their undisputed leader on the team, and not being able to play for them, I have no doubt they're going to be okay. If I can tell you anything about watching basketball for the past decade, I can tell you that the one thing you don't want to do is doubt players that are young and hungry. And if any team is hungry to make it back to the playoffs, it's going to be the Phoenix Suns. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that Booker said he wants this team to make the playoffs continuously, and I think it's safe to say all that work really paid off.